Hello everyone, this is Joe Brewer here in Barichara, Colombia, and I'm at the Food Forest project in the Bioparque Moncora, which is a community reforestation project here in the area. And I've shown in previous videos some of the ways that I'm pulling invasive grass and building soil. And I wanted to just show you two things today, just to give you a sense of how all of this project is progressing. So first of all, just you can see that we've successfully cleared, I've been clearing all this grass by hand. So it's been a huge area that has been cleared. And as I'm pulling the grass and I'm shaking out the bottom of the roots of the grass, I'm collecting all of these. This is actually decomposing leaves from an Acacia Magnum tree, which is this tree with the leaves right here, this big tree right here behind me. And this Acacia Magnum tree, which you can see is a big tree, and actually we have another one, that's another Acacia Magnum. And this is a tree that when the branches grow, they actually dry out. So maybe you can see, so some of the branches are sort of drying out and losing their leaves. And so you can do something called chop and drop with this tree to help grow soil. And what that basically means is that you can take, like I have here, you can take a machete and you can cut the branches. So I'll just do a little example here of one of them to show you. And it just cuts off and you get the pieces like this. And you can do this with the entire branch. And what's beautiful about this is a type of tree that fixes a lot of nitrogen in the soil, builds a lot of like ground cover mulch naturally by decomposing. And what I'm doing is taking it and putting it in a big pile. So you can see here I've got this big pile of Acacia Magnum leaves and branches that I've been cutting off with the machete. And so as we're clearing this area, and you can see all these decomposing leaves making this nice brown ground cover. And I'll show you some of it here. This stuff just, as it's decomposing, it makes this really nice brown material. Here's some that's actually decomposing Acacia Magnum leaves. And sometimes, like here, you can get mycelium growing on them. So they actually start to become food for microorganisms and for mushrooms to grow the soil. And so what I just wanted to show you is that part of what we're doing here in preparing this area to become a food forest is using the existing canopy structure of this Acacia Magnum tree to give us shade and have this really much better soil than the clay thick soil that hasn't had this tree here for the last 10 years. And I'm able to start cutting these dry branches and pile them to make a different kind of compost. This is going to decompose and become soil. So I can, as it decomposes and dries out, you can see here that I've got some new leaves that I just cut. But then these are leaves that I cut about a month ago down at the bottom. And so the ones at the bottom are already decomposing and the ones at the top are going to decompose on top of them. And they'll make a mound of rich dirt, almost like potting soil, that we'll be able to use for the plants here later on. It's just similar idea to that great big, if I come over here you can see it, that great big grass pile way back there as I'm pulling all this invasive grass, making the grass pile, which will eventually cover with a tarp and let it begin to decompose and make some nice potting soil as well. That these are two ways that we're using only the materials on the ground, only the materials that are already here to build the soil. So I just want to show this to you as another way that we're preparing this area for our reforestation project, for our community food forest, and that this Acacia Magnum tree is just, it's not native. It's one that they planted about 10 years ago, but it's a really good tree for building soil for exactly these reasons. And so I just want to show it to you and say that this is one of the benefits of choosing this site, is we have two large Acacia Magnum trees to work with. So I hope you find this interesting as another way of using what's called chop and drop. Chop the branches and drop them in a pile to start making soil that you can use for planting other trees, bushes, and shrubs, and to grow your own reforestation project. I hope you find this interesting and insightful, and that it inspires you to want to go and regenerate your own degraded piece of land. And as always, this work is supported by the Barichara Regeneration Fund, and I'll include a link for that down at the bottom if you're interested in supporting our work.